let's try it again. So I was initially going to talk about a different article about how it was called "There's No Escaping Race of Video Games," but I can't use that one. So instead, I'm going to talk about a chapter of a book about race and culture, and so, or not race and culture, video games and culture. So it kind of gets into the idea of how I'm trying to give you a game. It kind of gets into the idea of how video games function in culture and in society, their position of are they art, are they not, how do people play them and why, like all this stuff kind of gets into it. And part of it gets into who plays games, why, and what's the purpose. And so there was a segment where they were like, okay, these are the things that that people tend to get out of games. And I want to find that because I really liked the list. Let me just... Okay, so the idea is that people play games for like, they get certain enjoyments out of it. Like it says, a challenging activity that requires skill and it's goal-oriented. Emerging action of awareness, attention is fully absorbed by the activity, clear goals and feedback, concentration on the task at hand, everything else, bless you. I could have sworn I picked up a frozen tear out of the generator, did I not? The loss of self-consciousness, the transformation of time, either time passes very quickly or the key moment, a second could be experienced as less than a long time. So a lot of it's talking about like that flow that I mentioned for the first time I talked about this sort of stuff. That's not what I picked at all. But it's really interesting because it kind of like, Stardew Valley is one of those games where honestly Stardew Valley kind of falls into the same category of The Sims in a lot of people's mind, where it's not a real game. And I feel like that's the case because it's not something like, it's not a game that's primarily played by cishet white men. And it's funny because I made a joke a while ago, like maybe last month or the month before, about do straight people even play Stardew Valley?
Like, this isn't even a discriminatory thing. I just like, I feel like if you're like chilling with your life or you're straight, you don't, what's the appeal? Like for me, I just want to be a gay little farmer who leaves their corporate life forever, but like, especially if you're like neurotypical and straight, like, what's the appeal for you?
And the joke was basically like, what do you get out of it if you're straight and or neurotypical? Because the whole point of Stardew Valley is goal-oriented. It's a goal-oriented anti-capitalist. You are simply a gay little farmer here to do your funny little tasks. And so it's funny to look at who plays Stardew and why. And it's mostly not cishet white men. And so I think it's funny tying into like the whole idea of games and the culture because it kind of gets back into this thing of who plays games and why. In fact, there's a whole section on women who play games and who is and isn't considered a gamer and why. And I thought it was really funny because like The Sims was mentioned in there, but also like you gotta look at games like Candy Crush and Solitaire and other games like that that mostly women play and are mobile games. And it's so funny. So yeah, so part of this game is wish fulfillment, and part of this game is just like straight up chilling, having a good time. It's goal oriented. It's kind of like honestly the same joy you can get out of Animal Crossing, where it's just like this is kind of we vibing, we chilling, we're having a good time, whatever. Stardew is also like has an added bonus of being a game that you can mod. So being able to mod games really adds into adding what you want out of life in this game. And so like for example, I have like 23 mods on here. Some of them are quality of life, and some of them are aesthetics. So like for example, and I really actually wanted to talk about Stardew for my next week's topic, which is more about gender and sexuality in games. But I can't see what next week's games are, so I didn't know if this was going to be on the list or not. And it still served my purpose because I also wanted to talk about race and representation. And as you can see, the mod I have on here, I have 23 mods. Some of them are just quality of life things. It gives me like a tractor. It gives me some other things. But also, and I'll show you, it's also a diversity mod. So it adds like it makes the characters of the crew, which are for the most part everybody in this town is white except for Maru and Demetrius. They're black, but everybody else in this game for the most part is white. So what I did is I got a diversity mod and slaps. And so it not only has racial diversity, but also disabilities as well. And a couple of the characters are implicitly trans as well. Like Sam, you can make trans. The whole thing slaps. You can also also just like changes like some of the hair, some of the portraits, stuff like that. Adds disabilities, so like things like that. Religious differences, like you can make Harvey sick. Things like that. So it's really cool. Joy's Muslim in the diversity mod. I just think it slaps. It's a good time. There are several characters get prosthetics, which you can't really see in this. But yeah, I'm simply vibing. But like mods like this are really interesting because it lets people like reflect themselves in games that they wouldn't otherwise be able to see. Like I love Stardew Valley. I think this game is amazing. Thanks, Marlon. I simply think it is a good time. But also there's still like the issue of it is incredibly white, which tracks. It's made by a single white dude. Makes sense. But so this kind of feels like this Stardew feels several things. So it's wish fulfillment, it's all this stuff, and then also I forgot about the slimes. Also, it's great because it's a time sink. Like, let me just pause this real quick to see how much time I have logged into Stardew, because it's a lot. Yeah, I have 258.7 hours logged into Stardew. I've only had this game for a couple years. I play it on and off. When I play it, I put hours into this game. Like, I put hours and hours and hours into this game because it's a very good time killer. It's my favorite depression game. It's just fun to play. You do your silly little tasks. And it's very, like, it's a single player game where you're incredibly self-sufficient. It's a good time. that in there, put that in there. I want that. Are all of these incubating right now, or is it just the one? I was also able, you can add in the mod, I guess they're all incubating right now. You can also add in a mod to like completely get rid of the dialogue differences and to make it so that your farmer could be read as non-binary. It's great. I love it because I'm personally non-binary and I love that. Like I love that I can just like make this my own little ideal world. Funky little gay farmer doing my tasks. Nope, please. I literally hit the button. Please, thank you. Nice to them. So yeah, this game kind of fills a lot of the niches of like wish fulfillment and inclusion and falling into the zone. Where's my tractor? Bring me my tractor, thank you. Come on, there we go. It's lagging so bad, this makes me cry. It's also a nice game because it's not it's also a dating sim among everything else. So you can romance the townsfolk, with the exception of Marnie and a couple other people. I think that's rude. I think you should be able to date Marnie because I think Marnie deserves better than what Mayor Luce can give her. That's neither here nor there. That's a personal thing. No, go. Tractor be gone. I don't remember what my control was for the tractor. Oh well. And it's not limited by what gender your farmer is, which is great. Um, please let faster, thank you. Oh man, are y'all out of hay for real? And then also like, you know, you can add other mods in too. Like I added a mod that lets me date more than one person. Um, and another one that let me marry more than one person, which is cool. It's fun and reflective of the way that real people's lives work. I'm out of space. How am I out of space? Why do you load? I'm dying. This is killing me. I have to go sell things. I can't keep doing this. I can't keep living like this. But Stardew Valley is one of those games where it's escapism, in a very fun way. It's also you're able to actually like kind of lose yourself for a little bit because you don't really have to think about the outside world. Like this is a game with like very strong like anti-capitalist political messages. Obviously, like it can be very queer if you want it to be, everything like that. But I don't actually have to sit here and think. There's nothing in the back of my mind that really makes me think, oh man, like even here I can't have in this house. And that's nice because I get exhausted playing games where I can't have anything. Like I get exhausted playing games where I'm reminded of like real world racism, real world discrimination, blah 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 blah. Like yes, those are important stories to tell, but that is not a story I want to hear every time, especially if it's told by white people. To be entirely honest, like one of the main reasons that I did not play Bioshock Infinite for last week / this week's thing is because it is an important game to talk about. However, I don't want to play a game where the main message ended up being look how bad both sides are. Look at the Black Revolutionary Group. They are just as bad as the Confederates who literally made an island, broke away from the Confederacy because they didn't want to deal with not being racist. Like, that is a game that, while it has important things to talk about, but not the things that it wanted to talk about, it makes me tired. The opening scene is you have given the option to throw a rock at a mixed race couple. I don't like that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with a game where the entire second act is, oh, you know, the Vox Populi, the black radicals who are trying to liberate themselves from this island full of racists, they're just as bad. I hate that. I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with a really heavy-handed, badly done racism metaphor that David Cage does. I don't want to play Detroit Become Human because I have to sit there and think, I am so tired. I am so tired. Like I sit there and I'm like, okay, we're gonna watch the white lady android give the Martin Luther King speech. We're gonna watch this black dude who's an android be labeled as a radical for not little. Like, it's exhausting. Stardew Valley, not so much. Stardew Valley, I get to simply vibe. I have a farm. I can go fight monsters. There's interesting themes still in this game. Like there's an entire fact that there's a war happening that you don't actually ever see, but Kent is a veteran. The shadow people, like Krobus and the dwarves, don't like each other. Apparently, the dwarves went and colonized the mines and expelled the shadow people from their homes. Like, there's still interesting stuff to think about, but it is done in a way that is not like the average. Like, you can pick up those themes if you want to, and if you are aware of them. However, I am not expected to sit there and get this like thrown at my face. It is a good, relaxing game. I get to kick back and have fun. I have put almost 300 hours into this game for a reason. No bad news, just vibes here. I have a dog. My dog's great. But yeah, I like Stardew Valley, and that's how it relates. No, but I really like this game. It's a sweet little game. It makes me feel good to play. It's a great little like it's a great it's a great example of escapism, and it has its place in the world because also it's important to know that it's not a AAA studio game. It was literally done by like one dude. one dude did this game and continues to update it, which I think is fantastic. Concerned Ape, if you out there, he turned this into a board game actually recently. This game has a board game that if it's not already out, it's coming out soon. I am dying at how badly this is lagging. I think it's also interesting to note how in the culture of gaming, people are so passionate about a game that they will literally like add mods to change how the game works in order to like provide like quality of life stuff or just little things. Like there's tons of mods that are like they mod it for the various languages, or they add in different things. They add in new routes, new endings, new characterization. You can put fun little aesthetics on your farm. Like there are so many like mods that are just for the farm itself. Um, like I think it's incredibly important to note how modding is a big part of PC gaming and how the community kind of came together to do these things. Like people will just do this for free, and I think that's amazing. Um, Hello, Danny. And this is like this is a game where if you wanted, this could be a multiplayer experience. Like I have a little cabin down on the other half of my farm. That's for when my friends want to come play with me, and I give them somewhere to sleep. Like I just think stuff like that's cute. What on earth? Okay. And there's also like so the modding thing is also like a reason that I don't have this game on the Switch, even though it would play a lot better, it'd be portable, all this stuff. I don't have it on Switch because I love the mods, which is a personal preference thing. And I know like the PC versus console gaming thing is like a whole big deal, but like, eh. Mostly, I would honestly play more PC games if my computer didn't run like. Thank you, that's mine. I'm gonna go put it down in the cellar. Hello? Thank you. I didn't even get to show off how cool my town looks because I was so busy trying to like take care of like my farm because I haven't actually been mainland in like 2 weeks in this game. Thanks. I haven't actually been on the mainland for like most of the week. Like I spend like most of my time on the island right now because it's funsies. It's not Tuesday, so Marnie will be at the counter. Hello? I need 1,000,000 pieces of hay, please and thank you. My animals are going to starve. I wish you could like hold it down and it would just like continue to buy until you let go, but it doesn't. Hello? Oh yeah, but that's part of the diversity mod, and that's a newer aspect is you can hello, please. Where'd my brain go? Clint is blind, if you so choose. Which I simply think is neat. Please welcome to my town. I'm going to show everybody my town and kind of how it looks. And look at my movie theater. Hello. I also like that you can buy Pam a house. Harvard. I come bearing gifts. Goodbye, Harvard. Honestly, the mayor role opens up a lot more questions than it does answers because, like, if there's a mayor, then why is like, why did the community center go into disrepair? Why is Pam living in a trailer? Why did the bus not run for 1,000,000 years and leave her completely unemployed? Like, and if there is going to be a mayor, let me be the mayor because clearly the farmer is much better at this job than the actual mayor of the city.